Welcome to Tavern Watch Plays Sentai and Sensibility, a game about heroes and Regency era love and society and proper adventure. Join us as we sally forth to adventure.
Hello and welcome to Tavern Watch Plays, a game of Sentai and Sensibility. This is an unusual one for us, and the secret is kind of there in the name. We have a sort of Regency romance with giant robot fighting because that's what everyone wanted to play. That's what everyone wanted to play, so here we are. It's a sort of different game than what we've played before. It's everyone rolls just a single dice that represents their station or class, and that's going to, the number of the dice you're assigned kind of determines how likely you are to succeed or fail at different things. Very different than kind of a D&D sort of system, but I think it's very interesting. And so let's go into it and introduce who is playing today. I am going to start with Anne.
Hi, I'm Anne Stickney. You may know me from other stuff. Anyway, I'm playing Lady Blossom Hephaestion into whatever.
Joan?
I am playing Haruka Hadagami.
Hi, I'm Joe Perez. You may have noticed me from other things, such as every other podcast we produce on this site. I will be playing Sir Riley Mullabyaly. I am a hussar. I like mounted combat and mounted combat accessories.
And Matthew?
Hello, I'm Matthew. You don't know me. I'm from playing this time Dame Margaret Clytemnestra Marlborough, a paleontologist who has unique theories about the nature and stratus of prehistoric life.
All right, Phil.
And I'm Phil. You might know me. I don't know. And I am playing Bartholomew Culpepper, a associate professor at Cambridge in the history department.
Well, of course. And so let us begin. As we set our scene, we are in the capital. It's been a dreary winter, and the snow dusts everything. The days have been getting shorter and shorter, but everyone is looking forward to winter's end, when the winter solstice will mean the days start getting longer again. The sun comes out again. It's a time of much celebration and revelry. The streets are full of electric lights and decorations. Packages and presents fill the storefronts. And on winter's end, when the dawn comes, the queen herself bestows a present on every resident of the land, which is said to represent their heart's desire. It's much merriment. You are all out today. The sun is sort of shining out here, out on the streets of town, where the snow has been cleared. There are storefronts in every direction, a broad avenue for promenading on. Even if in this dreary weather, people do like to come out and show their colors. Shops for shopping, any kind of merriment you might wish. But everyone has been invited to the museum to see the new paleontology wing, though I will ask if anyone wants to do anything else while they're heading there. What does anyone have a task they would like to do this day? You do know the Grand Winter's End Ball is coming up in just a few days. It's very close to the ball, and you will, of course, as gallant members of society, all be there.
I need ribbons, so I wouldn't mind stopping by the
Certainly.
order.
Of course, that can easily be done. You walk into one of the shops. It is full of ribbons of every color, pattern, design, vibrant silks, intricately woven textiles. And yes, the shopkeeper, it's very busy. Everyone is preparing for winter's end. And So yes, the shopkeeper is quite glad to help you with anything you wish. Are you looking for something specific, my dear?
I'm looking for ribbons, preferably in an almond color, if you don't mind. Like beige, but a little lighter beige. And if you happen to have them with any pearls on the ends or anything like along the edges, just fancy. I'm looking for fancy. Everybody's looking for fancy, of course.
Of course. This is a very unusual color, but yes, we can make arrangements. And he's making little notes on his noteboard. And
need
yes,
3 yards of ribbon, if that's all right. And if you could have that delivered to the student housing district. Here's my
of
apartment
course.
number there.
Yes.
How soon can that be here? Because the ball is only days away.
Yeah, we do not have any in stock in that quantity right now, but yes, I should be able to. Of course, for the holidays, we make every accommodation that we may. So yes, that should be delivered to you in the next day or two.
All right. Thank you so much. And how much will that be?
That's a really good question, Anne.
I pull out my pocketbook and pay him. And give him a little extra because I am coming in late, and I apologize for my tardiness on this. I've been awfully busy with my studies, among other things.
Of course. Thank you. Very generous of you.
Are you visiting the museum later? They just opened a new wing. I'm on my way right now.
Oh, I hope to be there before winter's end. It is very exciting, all of the scientific advancement of the era we are seeing.
They're doing quite the opening soiree tonight, if you do want to stop by and just look.
Oh, I may, but everyone is in need of tailoring right now.
Of course. Well, I hope you can get some time to yourself, good sir. I'll be on my way.
Does anyone else have something they would like to do? Is there something, anyone else have last-minute tailoring needs?
I was going to be dropping off a letter to my grandfather. Actually, I know he has a retainer in the city, so I would be stopping at the Churchill estate because my grandfather is the 5th Duke of Marlborough, who'd be a Churchill. He's Spencer Churchill. I just stop by, drop off the letter.
All right.
Yeah, if anyone in family is there, I will visit them, of course, but they probably aren't. Everyone has every noble has an estate in town for things like this, but they don't spend their time there. I stop by, inquire as to if any of the family have come in for the celebrations. If nobody has, then I'll then head to the museum.
No one is home at the moment. Just a cast of servants.
Then I will go to the head of the house servants, the butler or whoever, and deliver the letter and say, if my grandfather or any of the family come into town for the celebrations, please, hand this to them. Tell them that I'll be fairly occupied, but I'm of course always available. That's all I'm.
Of course, my lady.
And then I then turn and go, and there's the cat here. Have they brought the cat? No one's brought the cat here.
No, I have not. No, they have not arrived with the cat. I believe.
I would give her a scritch and tell her she was a good cat. Is all. So when I really require you at this point, I charge you with this responsibility to give her a scritch and tell her she is a good cat.
I shall bear that in mind when she arrives.
Thank you. And then I head out. I'm wearing very expensive clothing, but it's also very functional. It's not festooned with anything. It's very. It shows that I am of a higher station, but it kind of sells it down at the same time. It's not a flowing dress or anything like that. It's like jodhpurs and boots and so forth. It's very much like field wear, but expensive field wear. Kind of like my statement of I don't want to dress up, but at the same time I know I have lots of money, so I do, but I don't really want to. It's like that.
All right. Okay. I'm just going to go down the list. Joan, do you have anything you would like to do? Anything that needs doing?
Yes.
Any shopping, sightseeing, etc.
Well, before Haruka leaves the shrine and changes into her kimono, she's going to make sure that there are no lingering spirits hanging around to give bad luck to the patrons. And she'll go and do a reading in her little observatory, a reading of the stars.
Okay, let's Joe.
Honestly, Sir Riley would be tending to essentially security around the exhibit or the soiree that is about to happen. Going through, making sure that everything is in place, that the exits are covered, that everybody in place is known, that we're actually ready to be checking IDs. After all, he has to keep the more I guess, education-minded folks safe, as, he feels that they generally get blinders on whenever they start talking about their fancy intelligence stuff. That's not his job. His job is to make sure that they are good to go.
Mm-hmm. This is an early preview of the opening, so there's a small guest list, but you've reviewed it thoroughly, and you are sure you can spot these people. You are on top of things. So yes, the museum is secure. You've been preparing for this for weeks, and of course, the more science-minded folk have probably been preparing exhibits for longer than that. But you think the security is tight enough. Though with the Queen's gala coming up, there will be events throughout the city, including a reception at the museum itself, and so there's a lot of festivity to come over the next few days. A great amount of preparation to do and to be ready for. So you've certainly kept busy lately.
Excellent.
Now, Phil, what are you up to?
I think Bartholomew has actually arrived early, and I think is having tea with someone appropriate at the museum. I'm not sure who that would be. I think maybe he is may have been there on like a consulting role, since school is out for the December holiday, obviously. But who at this museum would be, like, who is there ahead of time other than
Well, there is the curator who's been I mean, that's kind of going right up to the top, but who's been working on this exhibit, making sure it's prepared and properly set up, and so many arrangements this time of year. That would be Sir Halifax, and he's been reviewing the last details, but perhaps it is time for a break. A little break before all the guests get here. In a back room, kind of off to the side, where perhaps some staff come and go, as everyone's just kind of buzzing with a little bit of excitement before the big event starts.
Absolutely. I think I'll insist he at least takes a small break so he doesn't overwork himself before the big event.
So yes, and he has, the conversation is very much about getting all the events together, everything, every preparation, all of the exhibits we've gotten together. What a foolish thing it was to do this for the holiday season when everything else, but everyone else is making such grand displays for the season. The museum had to do something, and it goes on like that.
Well, if nothing else, he's ensured that this will be the talk of the ball, at least among the more academically minded
I
guests.
do hope so. I do hope so. And perhaps it never hurts to increase the museum's funding with a little outreach. So, I hope this will go well. It will definitely go well. We've made every preparation.
I have no doubt, Sir Halifax.
So, yes, everyone is, at this point, I'll say you've walked into the sort of lobby area of the museum. It has exhibits of all types. It's a very grand museum with grand windows that overlook kind of this broad promenade street with shops and every people milling about everywhere. The museum itself is brightly decorated with extra, there are extra lights strung outside for the celebrations. There are tiny strings of folded paper that are, you think, those of you who are a little experienced in paleontology, which everyone here knows maybe something, you think they're tiny folded dinosaurs of varying quality levels strung up on strings to decorate the lobby area. There are a number of wrapped presents stacked behind a reception desk that are meant as gifts to give out during winter's end to visitors and celebrants. It's very jaunty in here. Now, any of you have anything to say to one another? Anything going on as you mill about waiting for the exhibit to be opened?
Blossom is basically just running around saying hello to everybody as enthusiastically as possible. She's just delighted to be out in society and seeing all of the decorations and all the everything, and just gushing about dinosaurs in general.
I'm walking around the exhibit hall, stopping at every mount, criticizing it in my head, looking over who the primary researcher was. If it's Owen, I leave little notes criticizing everything I think he got wrong, just folded up like underneath the plaque on each one where he knows where I'll put them. And otherwise being like, they put it quadrupedal. This was clearly a biped. And this one's not even a dinosaur. This is definitely a mammal-like reptile. Although I personally think that title is wrong. They shouldn't be called mammal-like reptiles because they aren't reptiles at all. They're a member of the Synapsia, just the same as we are. They should be called proto-mammals and so forth. Just being completely and utterly absorbed in that aspect of it and forgetting that it is a holiday celebration.
Are you saying these things aloud?
I'm muttering them to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if someone comes past me, I'm not bellowing them. I'm not screaming, like grabbing someone going, this is wrong. I'm just going, I cannot believe they made this head. Look at it. Clearly the forelimbs are shorter. The hind limbs, it's obviously not intended to be a quadruped. And just, so forth and so on. But it's all muttering. It's not, it's not, disrupting things.
Are you attempting to be subtle with this?
Oh no, I'm not trying to be subtle. It's just like I stop, I look at it. I have a notebook with me. It's like a very fancy notebook. I open it up. I scribble my notes. I'm eventually going to find the person in charge of the museum and just dump my notebook on them, essentially. But for right now, I'm just doing that. And like I said, I'm muttering some, but I'm not going up to people and going, this is wrong, this is bad, because I understand that reconstructions are not, they're not meant to be exact. You do the best you can. I happen to think they've missed some things. It's like that. If anything I've actually worked on is here, I avoid it. I don't go up to anything I've worked on.
Okay, I will say there's at least one display that you assisted in putting together that was made of your discoveries.
I avoid that one. Because there's no point to me going up and critiquing my own work. I did that already. That's what that is. If it's wrong, then that's on me.
All right. Bartholomew, what are you up to now that the exhibition has opened up?
I think I'm going to be obviously with a less critical eye than Dame Marlborough, but I think I will also be trying to sneak an early peek at some of these exhibits. I think he's consulted on some of them, probably not the reconstructions. That's not really his area of expertise, but hasn't had a lot of time to look at it just between preparing for this event and advising Sir Halifax. So this is maybe taking the whole thing in, probably giving a polite nod to Sir Riley, seeing that he's here. Keeping all us academics secure.
Well, you don't want to get involved in a fight between two academics. I mean, that can get very ugly. It's good to be careful. So yes, Sir Riley, what are you up to? The exhibition has started opening up. There's a small crowd. It's a limited invitation event at present.
Sir Riley basically keeps mostly to the periphery, keeping an eye over the crowd, even as small as it is. All it takes is one spark to light kindling, and therefore he's remaining vigilant upon that. He will occasionally, in his rounds, maybe stop and contribute to some of the notes being left behind by Dame Margaret Marlborough, occasionally pointed out, that this weapon would not even be correct for this type of mount if it would to begin with. Conspiratorially, maybe whisper that as well as sort of encourage that because he thinks that it's very funny. And just kind of wander around, maybe nod at the professor a little bit, as they have definitely worked together in the past, but keeping his distance from the academics lest he be pulled into a conversation of which he has no interest whatsoever.
So much smiling and nodding.
Yeah, you may have that is absolutely fascinating. I must go now, and just kind of fades back, and kind of quickly moves to the other side.
There's a lot of kind of polite commentary, and you can tell some of this crowd is there are some scientists in this crowd, some people who genuinely know what these things are and are impressed or are critical, either or, maybe a little both. But there are definitely some people who are just, these are the nobility, these are people here to be seen who have finagled an invitation or donors to the museum that they want to encourage to donate a little more. So it's a very mixed crowd. Not everyone scientifically appreciates what's going on here. That's certain. So let's see. Haruka, what are you up to now that the exhibition has opened here.
So Haruka is slightly concerned about the reading that she did before she came, and so she's studying the positioning of the artifacts and the exhibit, trying to figure out where the energy is wrong. She's slightly distracted by looking around the crowd for her crush who doesn't acknowledge her. But generally, she's just looking for the source of that slight unease that she felt during her reading.
Well, it's very much a standard museum setting here. It hasn't been laid out with a thought to design or to harmony in a way like that, but there's nothing you can place. And what about you, Lady B?
Lady B has pulled out a notebook and she has a quill pen and she's like taking notes on everything she's looking at and also on everybody else that is walking around and what they're wearing and who they're with and what they're looking at and what they're interested in, because that is also very interesting. And all of this may or may not be part of a paper at some point in the future. She doesn't know, but she's just taking notes and running into people and talking their heads off, basically. And she's going to go over to Sir, is it Mullabyaly? Joe?
Mullabyaly, yeah.
Mullabyaly. So she's going to actually make a beeline, no pun intended, for Sir Mullabyaly and start talking his head off. Sir Mullabyaly, it's so good to see you here. I'm so happy that you're overlooking this wonderful occasion. What do you think of everything? Isn't it fascinating? Look at the little paper dinosaurs. Aren't they adorable? Did you try any of the food or the refreshments yet? They put them out specially.
You just see like a far distant look goes over his face as he like disassociates for a moment. Lady B, yes, this is a quite a wonderful endeavor. There is quite a number of fascinating things. However, my task, as always, is to make sure you and the others are safe. So, I have not consumed much in the way of food, nor given too deep of a thought to that which is here. You know that I am not as intelligent as the rest of you.
Her eyes kind of light up and she gives like just a half little smile and says, "Oh, I think you're a lot smarter than you'd ever give yourself credit for. But have you found anything worth defending this evening?"
Oh, not quite yet. You know as well that I've made an oath. My heart is my own, as it were.
Oh, I wasn't talking about your heart. I was curious if there was any darkness in the corners that seems to be lurking, creeping its way out.
I honestly, I don't know that
She's got her quill like poised over her paper.
Yeah. Nothing that has graced my vision, and I remain ever vigilant, however.
Do let me know if you see anything. And then she scurries off.
And he just shakes his head.
I mean, are you trying to be subtle about your questioning, Blossom?
Oh, absolutely not. She's like, she's everybody that she's talking to, she's basically babbling their fool head off about what do they think of the decorations? What do they think about this other stuff? What do they think about this other thing? And then every once in a while she'll slip in, so what do you think about that guy over there? And it's not that she's being subtle, she's just cramming it into a waterfall of so many other questions that she's hoping that they don't notice.
Roll etiquette for me.
Cool, that's 4.
Yeah. You have your 1 dice, and yes, you succeed on a 2 or 3.
1. What does that mean?
Well, okay. So a 1, you would have to roll a 2 or 3 to succeed on etiquette. A 1 is your honor. Now, a 1 isn't necessarily a failure, but your honor can be, you could call that a success at something you're good at, that your role might be good at. And what I was wondering with this role is, are you impressing people or are you annoying people? What is the impression you're leaving? And since you rolled your honor, I am going to say, tell me what impression you think you would leave with your character. Is she impressing people, or do you think she's maybe not?
I think it depends on the person. She's trying very hard to basically dazzle them with words, right? And
Okay.
she's a busybody student,
Mhm.
so she's very good at talking circles around people. That's kind of what she does, right?
Okay. I will say that since, yes, this is sort of your profession that you have been training at, that you do. You lean into all of the practice you've done, all of the readings you've done, all of the people you've been talking to and interacting with while you're a student, and you call on all of that experience here to dazzle the crowd. Not everyone knows what you're talking about, but you do sound very learned, and they are. When you walk away, they do seem impressed or maybe a little confused, but they aren't willing to admit they're confused.
I would say she's trying not to annoy, like, if this is like a failure to any of the people that she's talking to, it's not that they're angry at her. It's more like they're kind of laughing at her a little behind her back.
No, I see. That's the interesting thing about the system is a 1 isn't necessarily a
Okay.
failure. A 1
Okay.
can be a success, but we have to, like, if there is a reason, this is the 1 is your honor. So you're going back on what you know and what your character is. So if you rolled a 1 and you were trying to do, like, if you were trying to go swimming,
Oh
that
yeah, no,
probably would have been that would have been a failure because you
Yeah.
you did not hit the roll. But you're doing something that your character is good at or should be good at. So that is a success in that case. I think it's a very interesting system. Kind of
Okay,
turns
cool.
the rules on its head sometimes.
Thank you. So,
So
yeah,
it-
she's just trying to gather dirt. Not dirt, just interesting tidbits about everybody that's there. She's really nosy.
And what is anyone else up to while Lady Blossom is wandering the crowd and excitement and noise tend to follow her as she goes. The room is filling up, people dressed in all manner of things. Some have taken the paleontological theme to heart. You see women with hats that have like little dinosaurs on them or exotic feathers trying to recall prehistoric creatures. There's an attempt at paleontological fashion, which some people pull it off better than others.
Oh my god, I
Dinosaur
accidentally fit
fascinators.
in with this, and I didn't even mean to. This is real. This is my actual field outfit. But I don't say that because that would be crass, but I'm like, "Arr!" Didn't think everybody would be wearing this.
Well, it is in strange taste to wear the same thing other people are wearing, but most people, I imagine, the people who are here trying to dress for the occasion have more elaborate hats than you do. That's just a guess, though.
I'm wearing an actual
Unless-
pith. I have a pith helmet, but I'm not wearing it. I have it currently like down on my back with the cord around the front, so you can see, the way that people wear them when they're not on their heads. Like, I'm literally in my field getup. It's just a very expensive field getup. But I know I'm like, oh Lord, I should have just worn a dress. I hate dresses, but I should have just worn one just so I wouldn't look like I was trying.
So is there anything else someone would like to do or look at or interact with as the crowd continues to buzz over the new exhibits?
B is going to, unless somebody else wants to do something here, Lady B is going to now make a beeline for Diviner Hadagami because she has noticed that Haruka looks a little bit out of sorts. A little bit, not like overtly or anything, but she's kind of picked up on it's not quite right. So wanders over to her and says, Diviner Hadagami, how are you? It looks like something's troubling. I hope not.
Hard to say. The stars can be such, how do you say, fickle, I believe.
Oh, well, I think trying to draw meaning out of gaseous balls in the sky that const around us or around them, I always forget what it is. Astronomy, astrology. Either way, it's not really my subject. I'm so sorry. Did you find something? Did they tell you something unsettling?
Nothing specific. I've probably forgotten to do some shopping that was important for the shrine.
Oh, I ordered some ribbons today. They're going to be delivered, but oh my goodness, the tailor is incredibly busy. So you have to order anything for the winter's wall. I would get on that.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
If you see anything or, if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. And then she goes fluttering off to somebody else.
You are very well named. You are a busy bee all over the reception hall today.
Have I picked up on anything funky? Anybody? No? Everybody's just having a good time?
Everyone is milling. No, nothing seems odd. There is, of course, Dame Marlborough, who is muttering to herself. That is not entirely subtle with how much you're going around the dance floor. But it's not out of the ordinary. It's not out of the ordinary.
No, anybody who knows me knows that I'm like...
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, that hasn't really like quirked her interest because she knows what's going on there and she finds it terribly amusing and is just letting her do her thing. But she's going to do her thing.
I mean, I guess I'll look around for anybody who I'm professionally acquainted with, who might have actually worked on some of the reconstructions here, so I could basically complain about them. or to find out, like, if, for instance, if Robert were here, I would avoid him, but I would let him know I was avoiding because I would want him to be completely aware that I was avoiding him.
Well, Robert is here. He's been in conversations with the curator, Sir Halifax, and I should
say hello to Halifax.
They have been going from exhibit to exhibit, and they have attracted a crowd that has been following them as they discuss the exhibits. It's not like they're lecturing to the crowd, but they're commenting on each as they walk past, and a little gaggle of followers who, you don't think any of those people are paleontologists.
No.
Their hats are far too elaborate to be actual paleontologists, but they follow along and they ooh and ah at what they perceive to be appropriate moments in the conversations.
Okay, well, I will therefore then, because I do feel like I owe a turn into Lord Halifax, I will walk up to say, at a moment where he seems to his attention is not focused on something else, I will walk up to say hello. Halifax, it's good to see you.
Dame Marlborough, it's lovely to see you. This has been, I do think this exhibit is a success. I think it will be a success. I am happy at the crowd that has turned out tonight. And your exhibit looks marvelous, don't you think?
I avoid it. I don't want to give myself the anxiety of realizing how many mistakes I made. It's not something I want to do. The field is, as you know, constantly moving.
It is true.
Yesterday's theories are tomorrow's debunked. But I did want to say hello. I give Robert exactly a side eye. And then I turn back to Lord Halifax. And I'm truly pleased to hear that it's going well. Any public attention is only to the good for the field. I'm delighted for you.
I think so. I hope to raise some additional funds for more expeditions in the next year.
You should talk to my grandfather. He should be in town in the next few days. I'm sure he'd be more than happy. Do you want me to tell him to contact you, or would you like to contact him? You can tell him I told you to talk to him if you'd like.
That would be most excellent if you might refer him to the museum. We have.
I know he donated to the Greek wing. I know that much. But that was
yes. Well, the paleontological side of things is, as you say, it is a rapidly developing field of study, and there is much yet to learn. So there will always be. I would like there to always be new exhibits as we learn more of the field.
Yes, absolutely. Well, again, have a good night. Enjoy what you've achieved. And finally, I turn to Robert and go, Robert?
He turns to you, very, his head kind of high, but, eyeing you, yes.
Have a good night.
And you as well, my lady. He gives kind of a little bow that's kind of, sort of neck and shoulders that's like this perfectly calculated amount, which is not disrespectful, but it's not going overboard.
No, I know. I give him the very slightest acknowledgement in that I tilt my head slightly away, and then I leave.
B is off in a corner, like hurriedly making notes about this lack of exchange.
Are you doing that? Like, do I see you doing that?
Well, I mean, she's kind of like, there's the gaggle of people that are oohing and eyeing and all of that, right? She's kind of behind them, taking notes on them oohing and eyeing, and then just took some notes on you talking to him.
As I walk past you,
Roll.
Okay, go ahead.
Roll etiquette for me.
Which one of us, me or her?
You, Matt.
Okay. 6 on a D10.
Okay, that is a failure. You
Okay.
are... And etiquette is, it's called etiquette, but it's used for social graces, knowledge, but also noticing, perceiving, and things of that nature.
So I didn't notice
So-
her doing it, so that's cool.
You did not notice her, even though she's not exactly being subtle.
Then as I walk
Yes,
away,
you're
I'm walking away.
you're
Then
sort of dazzled by the crowd. There's a lot going on tonight.
I'm preoccupied with him. I know it.
Yeah.
As I walk past, I'm muttering again to myself. He doesn't even remember that son of a... And I just keep going.
B writes that down.
Bartholomew, are you up to anything else this evening?
No, I don't think anything in particular. I think maybe attempts to ingratiate himself a little bit with Owen, who he only knows through reputation, I guess, but would be a good person to know in his field. So I think after Dave Marlborough's interesting exit, I think Bartholomew will kind of slide in and try to make small talk about whatever exhibit we're standing near right now.
Yes. Well, would you like to roll etiquette and see how impressive your conversation is here?
I would love to roll etiquette. I have rolled a 3.
That is a success. It's the dice system in this game is so strange. It's very interesting to see. It's the low rolls are not necessarily bad, the high rolls are not necessarily good. But yes, so you go up to Robert Owens and he turns to you politely as you start joining the conversation about this exhibit, and you actually make some very compelling points about how this display has been set up and the accuracy based on current scientific research that you've studied. He is impressed. I did not know you were quite so up on the field. Professor, is it?
Yes, Professor Culpepper from I'm from Cambridge, but I'm down in the capital for the winter holiday. Pleasure to meet you.
Indeed, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm sure I've seen you around, but yes, it's clearly it is a shame we have not met before.
It's time we remedy that, and I think I'll just chatter with him for a while.
Yes, you have made an excellent impression. So connections made, a success. So yes, the party continues, and the sun has set outside. It is, we're in the depths of winter. It does set pretty early, so the exhibit is lit by just electric lights, and more electric lights outside with the festivities in different colors. It's night, but it almost doesn't seem like it with all of the festivities in preparation for the holiday. But you are all doing this, and you hear a crash of glass. A great crash as the windows in the lobby burst inward, and a number of large mechanical creatures crawl in through the wreckage.
Immediately start ushering people out of the hall, trying to get them to, safety so that we can deal with this. I'm assuming that the guards that are posted are probably doing the same.
Yes. There are museum guards, and they respond to your example. They follow your example as one of the senior members of the staff. Roll footwork for me.
I can do that. That is a 4.
That is a success. So you cut through the crowd with great swiftness and gently escort people out. There is a lot of commotion when this crashing noise comes in, and you escort them to a side exit, into a staff area to get them out more quickly without going through back into the main doors. And you start escorting people out. Is anyone else doing anything?
B is kind of like following the crowd at the back of the crowd just to make sure they all get out. She's kind of like trying to look like she's part of the crowd, but really just sort of making sure everybody gets out safely.
Is anyone looking at me, or are they all occupied with what's going on?
Everyone is kind of in a panic. They're certainly calmed by Sir Mullabyaly. just certainty in the situation and the fact that he is very clearly, as he seems like a man with a plan, and they're all kind of going with it. Having someone here who's confident is good. So
we didn't discuss this
really
very well before this.
Okay.
We have our abilities, right? We already are the people.
Yeah,
okay.
You.
Then, since I think I'm not being watched, I'm going to put my hand up around the amber pendant around my neck, and I'm going to very quietly in my like I'm going to whisper it more than say it. I'm going to whisper, fearless dragoon, azure gorgon, and call the power.
Okay. So you were transforming.
The Sentai fan in me is dying a little bit inside. You gotta have the plain clothes fight before you go powered up, but it's fine.
So
I'm a firm believer that Voltron should have simply used the sword to begin with. Sorry.
So what do you, when you do this transformation, you are in your Sentai outfit or uniform. Yeah. What do you look like when you transform like this?
I insist that it has a Sailor Moon-like episode where there's flashing lights around me.
Yes, I mean, absolutely, and I would like you to describe it.
Yeah, so that happens, and literally the blue. It's like look like a 1,000 blue motes just come flying at me from every direction and swirling around me, and then each of them kind of like collides with me, and they form like a lattice around me, and then there's suddenly in the place of the woman there is this figure that is blue, and like the inlaid stuff is black, the stuff that isn't blue, but most of it is blue, and it's a stylized helmet with these massive saber teeth. They come down like from the middle part of the visor because the Gorgonopsid is massively saber-toothed. It's one of the first saber-toothed animals, and they had huge ones. Just big saber teeth, kind of a reptilian meets cat look to it. Some of the stuff is like scaly, but there's also like a dotted pattern on the chest, and the Gorgon like a Gorgon claw like thing in the middle. And I'm holding a saber in my left hand, a cavalry saber, like a straight up. But it's crackling with blue energy as well, and I'm just there in that outfit. And there's this sound that is simultaneously like a cat roar and a lizard hiss. Like it sounds like the kind of noise crocodiles make, that noise combined with a cat hiss. It's this really weird noise. And then there I am in my outfit, just with like sparkles everywhere around me. And I'm like, I pull the saber up into the front position, and I say, "Those are valuable to science," and rush forward to try and stop whatever the heck is going on. And at the same time, however, I make a whistle myself because I'm calling him, and him being my machina, I'm calling him to come.
Okay.
So, I'm not just running in there to fight by myself.
Okay, so how combat in this system works is everyone gets a turn. Your turns are in any order, but everyone gets a turn, and then I get a turn. And I am everyone that is not you. So, we'll say that this is.
I forgot one thing. Okay. Did I see Robert get taken out, or is he still here?
Robert's still here.
Oh crap! All right, then I divert towards him.
He's. There's a lot of chaos. It wasn't a huge crowd, but there were enough people. There are enough people going in every direction. There's noise, kind of in the lobby, which is just off this area. There are certainly some people who are like gawking, who want to see what's happening instead of leaving. So it's a little chaos. Yes, and he is still in this area.
Okay, so let me know when I can interact with him heading towards him.
Okay, you can head towards him, but then I'm gonna let someone else decide what they are doing right now. So who has not done something? That would be Haruka. What would you be doing here?
Haruka, who has been sort of hovering just out of conversation range with Bartholomew, is going to make sure that he's okay. Are you all right?
Oh, of course, just caught off guard. What are these things anyway?
Nothing good.
That much is obvious given their disdain for fine architecture and science.
All right. Are either of you taking any particular action at this point?
I want to try to get closer while in a safe position, maybe like taking cover behind an exhibit to try and see exactly what we're up against. Like we know something big crashed through the windows, but what are we dealing with?
It crashed through the windows, but it wasn't the windows of this room. Like, this is a big exhibit hall off the main lobby, and they crashed into the main lobby.
Yeah,
so
I figured
I'd
have to head out there to look at them. So Bartholomew is trying to maybe like stay low.
Give me a footwork roll.
Oh dear, I don't think I'm very good at those.
Oh, you're
I
a
think
premier, aren't you?
Haruka's going
I
to
am.
follow his lead.
I rolled.
Could be worse.
I rolled a 2.
That is a failure. So you try to kind of sneak around and kind of get by an exhibit that's close to the front and sort of crouch down, but instead you manage to trip on, some signage that's been knocked over in the chaos, and you just sort of stumble and you're kind of flat on your face in front of the entrance to the exhibit, which does give you a grand view of what is going on in the lobby, which is a number of these spindly black robots have burst through the glass. They have fine long legs that are sort of spider-like, with a round body in the center of, you weren't sure how many legs, but it's probably too many. And there are quite a few of them crawling around the lobby. One of them seems to have gone for the pile of packages that are wrapped up and ready for giving out at the gala. But with a failure, and I forgot to do this with Matt, actually, with a failure, you take a Marquis of Peril. And the way that works, you take a mark whenever you have failed at an action, and when you do, you must roll your station. And you want to roll a number that is higher than the number of your marks, your Marquis of Peril.
Okay, so I'm trying to roll 1 above my marks of peril, or above a 1. Let's see.
Yes.
Oh, come on, D4. Don't fail me now. A 4.
So you're fine. You are completely fine. But for those of you listening at home, if as you collect additional marks, as you fail at additional things, there is a chance that you will be overcome by the vapors and have to leave the field because of
a fade to black, as it were.
Y'all know it. Yes, it is a fade to black. So, but you are fine. You are fine. Let us continue. I know, Matt, I didn't make you roll because I forgot about it. We're just going to keep moving forward.
Okay.
But Phil, do mark 1 marquee down for you, because that could do something later. Something totally good, I'm sure. But you think there are maybe 7 or 8 of these things, and one of them is larger. So, okay, Haruka, are you doing anything else other than kind of checking in?
Haruka is going to attempt to assist Bartholomew.
Okay.
Help him to his feet.
Yes, thank you.
What did you
now
see?
the both of you
Mhm.
are standing kind of out in the open here.
Well, just gestures. Strange robotic spiders.
Should we do anything about it?
I want to take this opportunity to draw my flintlock pistol and say, well, I have an idea.
Okay. So I'm going to. We're not really doing initiative, but I'm going to say that is kind of our first round. And I'm going to say the spiders continue to march through the lobby. One of them has gotten on top of this. This pile of packages used to be kind of neatly and artistically stacked. It's now scattered and fallen. It's
Big robot spider mashing it into the floor. Yeah. that's right.
yes. Well, it's not really intentionally mashing it. It kind of goes over there on its spindly little legs, and it takes some of its smaller legs. It sort of gathers up a bunch of packages and holds it to its belly. And one of them grabs up things, starts heading out. But the others are still there, taking up positions on the around the floor. One of them has certainly spotted you, Bartholomew and Haruka, and has headed in your direction. But that is all that happens right now. I'm going to give it to another round of your activities. Who would like to do something at this point?
If everybody has made the crowd is mostly gone, B's going to come running back in the room and running back to where Professor Culpepper and Haruka are at. Not necessarily right with them, because standing in a group like that would be really silly, but does she notice that there's one of the spiders is leaving?
I'll say the spiders are not subtle about this.
So I don't need like
they are quite large. They're probably, I don't know, they're probably 8 or 9 feet tall. With
so one of them grabbed a bunch of the packages and then leaving, or it's leaving.
It's leaving, and another one is now kind of gathering up some packages of its own and starting out. But there were 8 of them to start with, and now a couple of them have gathered up their prizes and are heading out the door.
Okay, so B's going to like point and go, "Stop! Those are for holiday celebrations!" And then she's going to like pick up her quill and punch it in the air. And she's going to do her transform. Because, I mean, if Dame Marlborough already decided to do it, fine. Lady B's going to do it too, right? So she's not even going to be subtle about it because everybody else is kind of left at this point, and she's just going to go, "Cheeky Premier Alden Brave Burrower!" and do her little transformation sequence. So, like, you get this close-up of her hand with the quill, and there's like a spray of water and then a fall of flower petals, like blossoms that come down and swirl around her, and she does this twirling thing. And the fancy dress that she was wearing, that was, very nice Regency looking gown specifically for this particular occasion, it kind of glows and then bursts free into a much more Sailor Moon looking outfit, right? So it looks like it actually looks like a Sailor Sensi uniform, except it's got a long skirt, like a long proper skirt. And the boots aren't like thigh-high boots. They're the little boots with the buttons on the side, like for the Regency period. And her hair goes from being pulled into like really fancy to basically like a long waterfall ponytail of hair. And she's got the quill in one hand, and she kind of pulls it down in front of herself, and in the other hand she has a fan, and she like flicks the fan and it slides open, and that's when you notice that it's got like a razor edge on it. This is a metal fan. And she says, "You won't get away with this," and that's her turn.
Okay. So, who is next? There are still a few guests in the hall, but certainly this transformation sequence has gotten Robert Owen to kind of, he was staring out in shock, and he's certainly staring at you, Dame Margaret, but he's kind of shaken out of it, and he's heading back with everyone else, sort of looking over his shoulder to see what's happening, but he is now leaving? He is leaving, yes.
Then I will turn to the ones that are, like, we currently have 2 people who are standing there in the open while these things come at them.
Yes.
Then I literally just jump and put myself in front of them and attack the closest one.
Okay. Make a dueling roll.
Okay, that's just rolling a d10 again.
Yeah, everything for you. Matt here is playing a Dragoon. Dragoon has a d10. Everything you do, you roll a d10. That's the game.
Since I know I'm convinced that high rolls are bad, this 9 makes me unhappy, but that's what it is.
Okay, I am afraid a 9 is indeed a failure. So dueling, a success for dueling would be a 4, 5, 6, or 7. So,
yeah, it's an interesting system. I kind of dig it. It makes you better at some things than other things, but I also like the idea that there's the hero result as well when you're transformed.
Yes.
So you have the additional chance of success by just rolling the highest number on your die.
Oh, okay. Yes. Then I didn't.
The highest number on your die is always going to be a success for rangers when you're in your ranger form. The lowest number on your die is always your honor, which could potentially be a success. So 1 could be a success if it is something that your character would be good at. But other than that, every ability that you do has a certain range of numbers that you may or may not be able to hit. But it's not high level is good, low level is bad. It's each ability has a different range of numbers that could be a success. So it's interesting. So you have tried, and what kind of weapon do you have? What kind of attack are you attempting to make? Okay.
It's a saber, and I'm literally just striking out to keep them occupied and away from other people.
So yes, you go intending to strike at the legs of one of these spiders, and you've moved too quickly. You know, you've rushed to get into place. You're off balance, and you swipe at it, but it's more of a show of force. You know, you were just way off on hitting this. Now again, just like we did a moment ago, with a failure, you take a marquee of peril, which and when you take a mark, you have to roll your station. So you roll a d10, and you want to get a number that is higher than the number of marks you have.
That's a 7. So yeah.
Okay, so you were fine, but you do have.
Here's a question though. I do have a question. When does my robot show up?
I mean, you can call and transform into your not transform. You can call your robot. You did say you whistled for it last turn.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that you can get into.
Real quick, aren't these like giant mechs, not small robots?
Yeah, they aren't small. I mean, it's not meant
This is like
to
Pacific
be small.
Rim, right?
I'm not saying it comes into the museum or anything. I just want to make sure I did call for it. I want to make sure it's outside.
Okay, yeah.
One of these days, I'm gonna make Matt watch a whole bunch of Power Rangers.
I watched Power Rangers when it first came on. I wasn't confused about this. I just want it to be outside.
I do think your individual mechs are not like kaiju size, but they're certainly larger than would conveniently fit into the lobby. So we've also got like these 9 to 10 foot robots that have crashed in. So maybe
I'm not calling it inside. That is,
okay.
I just wanted to know if it was outside because these things are trying to leave, right?
Yeah, at least a couple of them are heading for the doors, yes.
Well, then that's where the giant robot Gorgonopsid comes in, when they go outside.
But it's when you combine your machina into a giant colossus, that is definitely kind of the kaiju-sized robot.
The Megazord, as it were.
Yes. So, who would like to take their action next? Who is doing something?
I think Riley would make sure that everybody has decided that now is a good time for them to leave, and make sure that the rest of the guards are taking over the responsibility of ushering the last of the guests to the safety afforded through the servant entrances or service entrances so that they can be out of here. And then he will turn, gives a very deep sigh and just starts charging for the lobby. As he does so, he pulls his ascot loose, pulls it up over his face, and chants the kind hussar copper buffalo bear. And as he's running forward, the ascot elongates into, if you've ever seen like the old video game Beautiful Joe, he had that huge like scarf that flowed behind him, almost like a cape. It slowly elongates into that as fire wicks across all of his suit and skin. The cream of his pants and shirt are replaced by the absolute dark black of metal. The waistcoat that he was wearing grows a series of tails and begins to take on a metallic shine of the copper and fire, as a helmet with the visage of a bear forms around his head. As he starts charging even further forward and bursts through the door, the flames coalesce into his hand, into a bec de corbin, which is a halberd, but one end is a pickaxe, one side is a pickaxe, one side is a warhammer, and there is a very nasty looking spike directly at the top of it. He takes up a position with the rest of the team, and then puts the spike forward and calls out, "I don't believe you have an invitation for this party." And I don't know if I can do anything else, but if I'm allowed to attack, I would then rush forward and try to break one of these things.
I'll let you go ahead and make a dueling roll.
That is a 7.
And a 7 does succeed at dueling. So explain what kind of attack you're doing.
He rushes forward, and at the last second, instead of making a stabbing motion, twirls around, taking the flat end of the halberd into the side of this thing's flank. And as you see, like a burst of light and fire rally forth from the impact location. And then he just, does one of those cool little like spin moves with the pole arm, like you would see somebody do with like a spear, and then like takes up another position to move into either defend or attack against the next one that would be coming towards him.
Yes. You slash through it and a shower of sparks, and it makes just sort of an angry mechanical noise. And this one sort of topples over to the side. It's twitching, but it's not making active movements anymore. But there are still 5 of them in here, and 2 of them heading out with a bundle of packages held to their bellies. So who is up next? Who has something they would like to do? I believe we have. Go.
Haruka is going to grab one of those posts that they used for the. I completely can't words today. Okay, I can't think.
Some
of the
days
word
are like that.
You know, right? Like to make lines to put people through lines. What is it called?
Wow, what are those called? Like a post that you would have.
Like the
I am also blanking.
They're queuing.
Yeah.
They're just queuing posts. That's fine.
Yeah, there you go. She's going to grab one of the queuing posts, and throw it at a thief, just in her normal form. Yeah, not even transforming first.
I'll say make a vigor roll, because this is sort of a strength thing. You're grabbing it and hurling it towards this thing as it skitters out on its little legs.
We have a 3.
3 does not succeed on vigor. So you grab it up, but you were a little optimistic about the weight of these things. They're actually quite heavy. I mean, they have a very heavy base that's designed to hold them so that they aren't easy to knock over. You grab it and this is heavier than you thought it was. You throw it, and it goes a couple of feet, and it sort of clatters to the ground, tangled up in its own little cord that it was still in. It was a valiant attempt. You had a great idea. You were sure this was going to trip it up as it was trying to leave, but this was unexpected. So you also take Marquis of Peril, and I need you to roll your station, and you were looking to get a number higher than the number of marks you have.
We have a 5, so we're good.
Yeah, you were good. So, continuing on, I think Bartholomew is the only one who has not done something in this round.
I think so as well, and I'm going to demand that those fiends unhand those gifts. They're stealing Christmas. And Bartholomew will, seeing that transformation appears to be the order of the day, doffs his top hat and kind of throws it in the air, and there's that kind of flash of light like Lady Marlborough or Dame Marlborough had. When it subsides, his suit is now a very deep hunter green, and the feather has disappeared from the hat, but his suit appears to have grown a cloak of green feathers, and he places a little domino mask on his face, announcing that the learned Professor Premier Hunter Archaeopteryx is here. And with that pistol he still has in his other hand, just going to take a shot at one of the ones running for the door.
Okay, that's another dueling roll.
No one steals gifts on my watch. Yes, they do. I rolled a 2.
I am afraid that is a failure, and you must roll your against your marks.
God, don't overcome the vapors after transforming. That's not cool.
That would be very sad.
4 again.
Good! I believe you now have 2 marks, but you're doing okay. You have overcome this failure. It's okay. You're gonna get it next time. Just, this was a surprise. It's fine. So you take a shot, but it goes wide. One of them has now skittered out the broken glass that is most of the front of the museum right now.
Pulling on the tropes of the TV show, seeing the shot go wide, Riley would turn and say, Lord Hunter, this is why we do not skip practice.
It's a holiday. Come on, you have to... but okay, it's my turn. Another one of these robots is going to grab up the last of the packages and take some of its spidery legs to lift it into its belly and start heading for the exit. That leaves... man, why did I have so many spider robots? I think that leaves 4 of them to deal with, and they are going to make attacks on... let me see... One of them is going to go for Dame Margaret. So you must make it comes at you and slashes with it rears up off the ground and slashes in with one of its legs. And you have to, I roll nothing, but you have to make a save against that. And I will let you make a... You can make a dueling save or a vigor save, and I will let you decide which. Dueling would be like parrying with a weapon. Vigor would be more like you're resisting, like it's a weight you're resisting. Dueling is more strength. Dueling is more agility, and vigor is more strength. So depending on how you would like to try to avoid this.
I'll go with vigor.
Okay, roll vigor.
6.
That is a success, so it comes in swinging at you, but you bring up your saber and manage to just push it off. You know, you have the strength to just shove it off you, and it stumbles backwards. It did not expect that. Another one is going to go for Sir Riley, and I will give you the same choice. You can choose dueling or vigor to save from this, depending on how you want to.
This is dueling by far.
Okay, then go for it.
I rolled an 8 on my hero, so...
Okay, so yes, that's the maximum number on your die. That is your hero. That is an automatic success when you are in your ranger form. So what do you do to this thing?
So I plant the butt of the halberd down and like pull myself up over its attack, and then try to tumble down for a crescent kick on the top of its head.
Okay, so yes, you swing over it and give it a good kick to the head, and it seems it kind of stumbles off balance. It seems a little dazed. It's not collapsing, but it's a little shaken up, or as shaken up as a robot spider can be. Another one is going to go for too many people. Wow. One of them is going to go for Haruka. You did try to.
All right.
Didn't work, but you're out there.
I'm mad.
So it's come at you, and it's reared up with its legs slashing down. So you can make a dueling or vigor roll for me.
I will go with dueling.
Okay.
And we have a 7.
A 7 is a success on dueling. So you manage to
I grab a second post and parry its leg.
Okay, that definitely works. So yes, it comes in, it sees it sees that you are you appear to be unarmed. It doesn't think you can defend yourself. It comes in with those legs, but you swiftly pull one of these poles up and block it. It's sort of shaken off its game. Now, another one is going to come at Bartholomew. Kind of the same thing. They rush in with their skittery little legs, raise up, and kind of slash down at you. So I will give you the same choice as everyone else to make a dueling or vigor save, depending on how you wish to deal with the attack.
I was actually going to try to ask if I could try to evade by moving quicker than them with footwork.
I will let you do that.
Okay, I'm just going to try to dash out of the way as quickly as they're moving.
Okay.
And I am going to roll a 4.
And a 4.
That's a hero for you, isn't it?
That's your hero.
It is both a hero and a footwork success, so it works one way or the other.
So tell me, what do you do?
I think it's like coming in and it's slashing down at me, and these attacks are just coming down, and they're coming down with the force that they're like cracking the floor where they hit. And Bartholomew is just like dancing backwards, or like momentarily like blinding it with a swish of his cape, and just continually staying out of its way before he can try to snap off a shot with his pistol.
That's excellent work. And I will say, from a gameplay standpoint, that's a very good move, because you were playing the Premier, which rolls a d4. So it is very difficult to succeed on dueling, almost impossible to succeed on vigor, but footwork, you have even odds. So that's one of the interesting things about this game. So we are now back to everyone else's turn, and I'm going to say, Anne, what are you up to? Because we have not seen what Lady B is doing in a moment now.
So, how many have left out of the building?
2 have left at this point.
Is there one that has
There is one that has the last of the presents that is leaving, but it's not gone.
Okay. I'm going to try throwing my fan like a boomerang.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Yep. You can do whatever your little imagination comes up with.
All right.
It's
So I'm gonna throw my fan at the back of its head like a boomerang, and this is really like probably not going to work because I'm rolling a d4 for this, whatever it is.
Yes. So this is, I'm going to say that's a dueling roll.
God.
And yes, Anne has a D4, and dueling successes are 4, 5, 6, or 7. So you need to roll a 4.
I legit just rolled a 4. That's also my hero roll because it's a D4.
Yes.
So yeah, okay,
yes,
cool.
Tell me how this takes this creature down.
So she spins in a circle and whips the fan, and the fan is spinning when she whips it, and it just kind of goes to the back of the thing's head and just goes whack into the back of its neck. And it looks like a normal fan, like a lady's fan, right? It's not. It's made of metal, and it's got sharp edges on it, so it sinks in and just sticks in the back of this thing's neck.
Yes, and it collapses forward. It's moving fast, and you hit it in the back of its neck, and it suddenly stops, but its momentum is such that it sort of falls forward onto its forward legs, partially on top of the presence it was carrying. But
and she pulls back on pulls back and then lifts a hand with one finger and goes, no, no, no.
So, yes, there are 3 of them remaining. Wait. Well, I'm going to say I said it. There are 3 of them remaining. And what are the rest of you going to do?
So there are 3 remaining?
Yes. 2 have already gotten out.
So I will call out to who I think are the 2 fastest of us. Lady Almond, Lord Hunter, take after the ones that already have escaped. Lady Azure, Lady Crimson, and I can handle these 3. And then I'm going to try to finish the one that, tried to bop me, because you don't try to hit me, I hit you. That's how this works. So I'll take another dueling shot. No joke, that's an 8 on the die again.
Okay.
So
yeah,
this one
is a success.
So this one, I'll sweep the legs out from underneath it with the butt end of the halberd, spin it around, bringing down the hammer on top through its torso, taking it out of commission, and then take up another position to either fend or dash after the 2 that will remain after that.
Yes, it collapses into a shower of sparks with its legs crumpling under it. And, yes, that leaves, let's see, Haruka, Dame Margaret, and, Professor Bartholomew to, who is jumping in?
Haruka is going to sigh and grab her fossilized wolf claw, yank it off her neck, and shout, Blighty Hussar, Crimson Direwolf. And as she yanks it off, it becomes twin wakizashi, and the flower petals on her kimono expand and cover the whole outfit in red, and it becomes a samurai's outfit. And now he is going to shout, I have arrived! I'll save all of you! And now he leaps into the fray.
So you're going to attack one of them? There are 2 in here remaining.
With my wakizashi.
That's a dueling roll.
How about he says, and rolls a 3.
That is a failure.
He trips on the banister cord that he threw earlier.
It is really a mess once those start falling over. It's velvet ropes everywhere. It is really unfortunate. So you do take another mark of peril, and you need to roll your station and get higher than, I think you're at 2 right now.
I have a 3. Thankfully.
Okay, that is a success. You know you can overcome this hardship. You will deal with this. Next time, you got this. You were sure of it. All right. Who's next?
I guess.
Oh, go ahead, Matt.
Okay, I will attempt the one that... There's 2 right in front of us, basically?
Yes.
I'll just
2
try
left.
for the closest one.
Okay.
Oh, no, I failed. I rolled a 10 on the dueling.
10 is the max number on your dice, isn't it? You have a D10?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you roll your hero, it doesn't matter what the successes are. If you're transformed,
yes.
your highest number always succeeds. It succeeds in spectacular fashion. Think of it like crits.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. If you are in your transformed form, a high roll on the dice, max roll will always succeed.
I was starting to get sad about all the high rolls I was having. I was like, oh, this was high again. Okay, no. All right. So I guess what I do is I put the saber like up, and then I turn it so it's point down, and literally just leap before this thing can react to me moving. And then I'm literally just standing on its back, and it's like a slashing strike because it's the way the animal would have used its teeth is it would have used them to rip out the as much as it could of the throat. Now obviously this thing doesn't have a throat because A, it's a spider, and B, it's a robot one, but it's still that basic kind of decapitating motion that just it's like right across the throat, ripping out as much as I can, and in this case the entire belly of the thing gets ripped wide open with that strike, since it was
mechanical parts kind of scatter across the floor as this thing falls in a heap of wreckage. There is one remaining, and I believe that's you, Bartholomew.
Yep, but I believe there was one that was skittering away out of the museum with presents, and Sir Copper had a good idea to keep on it.
There are two that have already left the museum.
Yep, I'm going to give chase to those two. I want to.
Yeah, B took down the third.
Yeah, I want to dash out and try to follow it, and on the off chance that they've gotten too far ahead, I want to also call for my Machina just in case I need to get a better view from the air.
Okay, so you run out into the street and you do see these two dashing away, but what you also see is windows smashed up and down this avenue with stores being broken into, things carried off, the storefronts that had wrapped packages in their window smashed and gone. There are actually a whole lot of these robot spiders that have already started fleeing from the scene. But you do see the two that have left the museum still heading down the street. You are not very far behind them.
Well, then those are the culprits. I'm going to attempt to keep up with them. Yes. Maybe try to... I'll try to fire at them as I run. But I also want to see where they're going at this point. So maybe try to damage one of them and follow the other.
Okay, so, and I mean, if you want to call your Machina and be in it, you can do that.
I would love to do that, yes. I would love to be in my giant robot Archaeopteryx.
So yes, explain what this thing looks like. You rush out of the museum, you call for your Machina, it comes down from the air, and you leap into it. What does all of this look like?
Yeah, so I believe we've described this as being like the Regency, but kind of steampunky. So this is
these are definitely clockwork sort of steampunky devices.
Yeah, so this is definitely like it's shaped like the well-known ancestor of the bird, somewhere between the bird and the dinosaur, but has giant metal feathers. I think there's steam coming from various vents as it flies. And the cockpit is directly in the head, but of course it is. And I think it just kind of swoops down and I think it kind of grabs me with its talons and just kind of places me into the cockpit. And then I want to follow these things from the air and see where they're all going. Because this is clearly not just an isolated, this is a spree.
So yes, they head down the street deeper towards the outside of the city.
Okay, I'm just going to try to stay on them, and then if I need to double back to tell the rest of our Sentai where they've gone, then I definitely will.
Let me see. Make an etiquette roll, because that is going to be the sort of roll that's your powers of observation is what's in play here. No, you are good at these.
Something the Premier is good at, yes. Roll a 3.
That is a success. So yes, you keep on these. And they are, it's not easy, because when you came out, they were just kind of running down the street, but they've taken to, they have these spindly legs. They have a really good jumping distance where they hurl themselves into the air, get onto rooftops. So you can see where you might have lost them pretty easily, but you're following along. So yeah, now it's their turn. I think everyone has gone. There is one remaining in the museum. And I'm going to say it is going to make an attack on you, Sir Riley, because you've done a lot of damage to its robotic friends.
It is my job to be a frontliner. I accept this gladly.
But it knows no fear. It is coming in for an attack, jumping instead of its fellows have kind of come in and tried to swipe at you. It's leaping into the air, almost brushing the ceiling and trying to jump down on you and crush you. So, what are you doing in response?
If it's trying to jump on top of me, then I will use my polearm as a push and slide myself out of the way underneath it. So basically, you'll see me take a step forward, drop down, and then try to push myself through.
I'm going to say that's a vigor roll.
Vigor, interesting. Okay, that is a 6.
A 6 is a success on vigor. You do exactly that. It crunches down into the ground, crumbling the stone underneath it, the beautiful marble tiles. And, but you are not there when it lands. It makes a sort of, kind of a robotic growling noise, which is not normal for a robot or a spider. So, but you have successfully evaded it.
I do enjoy frustrating my enemies. Blizzard Watch is made possible due to the generous contributions at patreon.com/blizzardwatch. Your continued support means that this podcast signing community is able to thrive and grow. Blizzard Watch supporters enjoy exclusive benefits like early access to our podcast, a better chance at having your question answered on our podcast with a queue, and an ads-free site experience. Join us next time, friends, for another episode of Blizzard Watch Plays Sentai and Sensibility.